had sent them, my company had sent them what you guys gave us, about possibly trying to coordinate. And so many emails.
Making motions from that angle.
I like the
I will sit here, and then I'll sit here.
Earlier clock, probably in the clock. Sure. Okay. Right over the window.
How are you? How are you doing? Fine, thanking you. Yeah. All right, everybody, good evening. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We have a back-to-back agenda today. We have two meetings. Our first meeting is our mid-year budget review. The board and unit owners joined us, in last week, not last week, what was the date? About 3 weeks ago. On the heels of getting the great news about the reduction in our insurance. So I'm gonna call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum of the board. Just a few housekeeping rules, because we have a very full agenda. I want to remind everybody about board meeting decorum. Every unit owner has the right to speak. What we do is, when we go through the agenda items, if you have a question about a particular agenda item, raise your hand. We do have open forum. We prefer to keep it at the end of the meeting. Every unit owner can speak once for a total of 3 minutes. If you'd like to ask a question again, you need to allow every unit owner the first opportunity to speak at least once who wants to speak, and then we'll do the second round. Okay? We do, as an association, have the right to assemble peacefully. Any disruptive behavior will be given as we adopted the corporate resolution. I'll provide, as the chair, I'll provide 2 warnings. After the 3rd warning, the unit owner that continues to be disruptive, which prohibits us from conducting board business from past meeting. Okay? So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Our first set of meeting is all about the mid-year budget review. And I want to introduce, some of you may be familiar with Carol Eskew. Her firm, Judah & Eskew, has been the accounting firm in the association for how long, Carol? Long time. Long time. So we met about 3 weeks ago. As you know, we received the good news from Hector Molina, our broker from Loomis, that our our property insurance dropped from $1.2 million to $484,000 some change, I believe. But that was also on the heels of us having to do an updated appraisal, which is required by the insurance company. So we met, we discussed, we asked Hector, okay, what should we plan for if the appraisal comes higher than it did more than 3 years ago? And he said, just budget for 15% just to give you cushion. He said, I think that's worst case scenario. So our appraisal came in, and it was 160 something page of appraisal. And the results of the appraisal did not warrant any additional increase to our property insurance. So that gave us an opportunity to lower what was mailed to you on the budget, the revised budget. So Carol Eskew will take us through it. We'll talk about some unbudgeted line items that the association is experiencing. I want to make sure everybody understands what is the board's responsibility when we have unbudgeted line items that are excessive, what our options are, right? And so I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we'll open the floor for any questions
revised for budgeted insurance down to $649,970. However, because of the fact, as Patty just said, they did not increase your appraised value, we were able to drop that to $571,316. So what does that entail? Your property insurance renews every June. That's the big policy. You have all your other policies that renewed earlier this year. That's about $55,000 worth of policies. In addition, we finance the insurance. The financing charges are between 7.5% and 8.5%. So we budgeted 8% for the financing of the insurance over the 12-month period. So you don't have to pay it all up front, you pay it monthly. So we were able to reduce the number down to $571,316 for insurance. So it went from the revised $649,970 down to $571,316. If this budget passes tonight, and your board does vote on the budget, the homeowners get to ask questions and we try to respond to you. You're going to get a copy of the revised budget because the number did change in with your new coupons. So we plan on having those coupons. They're going to be ordered tomorrow. I'm all ready for that. And this budget is going with the mailing. It's required by Florida statute. Anytime we change that budget at the night of the budget meeting, we have to send out another new budget. If we didn't change anything, we wouldn't have to mail it out there. So these new numbers, everyone's interested in what's it going to cost you. So I'm just going to read them out. Phase 1, 2-bedroom. Yes, so you're going to go from $1,053 to $534. So phase 1, 2-bedroom, you were paying $1,053 from January through June of this year. It's going to go to $534. 3-bedroom, still phase 1, from $1,263 to $641. Again, 3-bedroom, phase 1, $1,263 to $641. Phase 2, 2-bedroom, from $992 to $501. 3 bedrooms, phase 2, $1,190 to $602. Phase 3, 2-bedroom, from $1,044 to $529. Phase 3, 3-bedroom, some of those unbudgeted expenses. So, we don't know exactly where we're going to be, obviously. There's a lot of work going on. That's why I was a little late. I was trying to figure out where to park. We'll see how long the project takes, and then where you're at the end of the year. What I'm going to tell you is with these projects, some of your expenses are going to go down just during this period of time for obvious reasons, okay? Others are going to go higher, okay? So I don't know what they're going to be. You know, we can look at them and kind of guess, but each association is different, just to let you know. And everybody's doing this work at this time. You probably see it all over the place when you're driving around. So this is nothing unique to anybody. This is happening in Florida at this point. Patty, did I answer your question?
Yes, could you go over some of, just to give an overview, some of the line items that were over?
So water and sewer. That's one that, again, we try to anticipate what's going to be. We don't know what people are doing, but obviously we budgeted sufficiently, we thought, for water and sewer. And as it stands now, your budget this year is $33,400. If we stay on the trend we're on, we're going to hit $46,000. So, don't know if people have plumbing issues that they're not fixing. Don't know if people are washing their cars, if they're allowed to or not allowed to. That's not my wheelhouse. But that's what typically drives up these water bills.
But our community is a little different. We don't, everybody has their personal water. I think the ones contributed that was the pool.
Okay.
And the irrigation lines.
Irrigation,
Okay.
yeah.
So you already know what it's
Customers using our water to, yeah,
Okay.
contractors using it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so another line item. Let's just look here. Legal fees. Legal fees are up tremendously. So we budgeted for the entire year $6,000. Through April, we already hit over $17,000, just to let you know. So if we stayed on that trend, which I hope we don't, you'll be at $52,000 at the end of this year. So that's tremendous for your association.
So what does that mean for us for next year? We would budget close to what we're spending?
Yes, and what we want to recapture some of this money, Patty, because your operating cash is coming way down. And we've got to make sure you have operating cash sufficient in case of an emergency.
Correct.
So, you know we don't fund reserves, and with the new laws, you still don't have to. But we do want to make sure you have sufficient operating cash if something else comes up.
I have a question for you, for CapEx, that's capital expenses, okay? Because this association doesn't historically fund reserves, do you recommend that we put budget some money aside for CapEx?
Sure, you should always put money aside for reserves, even if it's a small amount every year. So one of the things that you have, and this has been sitting in your account forever, is about $60,000 in reserves, but that's for common. It's not for each of the 4 individual phases. This is all common. So those reserves have been sitting there for quite a while, and I think, hold on, yeah, it's for painting.
Yes.
So,
Painting and seal coating.
there you go. So there's some additional reserves, but they're really not your money to spend. When you got the loan with Popular Bank made 2 things a requirement of the loan. One, and this is common, both of these things are common. So one is called debt service. So they make you put a chunk of money aside in a bank account that you cannot touch. For you, it's $74,500.
For how long?
It's contingent upon how much you owe on the loan. So this is a 20-year loan, and they actually have a formula. Not until we get to about year 13 are we going to even be able to look at taking any of this money out. When around year 13, we know based on the way these loans go, I can contact the bank and say, hey, how much can we take out of debt service? And they might say, you can take $2,000. You might say, you can take $5,000. They have a formula, the bank does. They're going to give me the number, and we'll pull the money out of there. It goes right back into your operating account. They have an addition. They required you to put an additional $76,000 aside into a reserve account. Again, really for the same reason. They don't want you touching that money. They want you to have sufficient skin in the game at their bank don't make a payment. That is what that's for. So between the debt service and the reserves required by the loan, $74,500 for one, $76,200 for the other, that money has got to sit there. But as we get closer to the end of the loan, those funds will be softened up a little bit and released a little bit at a time. Usually about a year before the end of the loan, you can take it loan. But that's a long way from now. That's 20 years. What else can I answer?
Does any other board member have questions? No?
About the budget.
About the budget?
So, wait, I have a question. So legal fees you said right now are, from April, about 17,000. Do we have a close, like, we don't have anything close to how much it's gone up since April? 'Cause
Yeah, I didn't bring the May financial, I apologize. So did you look at it?
Yes, of
Of
course.
course Blair had it. I didn't know where it was going, so I didn't bring my laptop in.
Yeah, I didn't print out all of it, but I do have what you're looking for. Let's see, here's May. Pass that on. It's front and back here.
Yes. So you're up to over 21,000 through May.
So 21,000, and our budget is 6,000.
For the year.
For the year. And we have a breakdown of what we're spending on.
I don't have it with me, but yes, it's with every financial. So from January through May, it will be identified in the general ledger of every financial, and if Blair wants me to, I can send her something, or she can get.
I can pull it up.
She's very good at pulling stuff from our side, so she can pull it up.
Perfect. I think we should know what we're spending $21,000 on in legal fees. Is that absurd?
Absolutely.
If that keeps growing, are we gonna have to have an assessment?
Not necessarily an assessment, because we have operating cash, but next year's budget, we're gonna have to increase that line item dramatically. We wanna make sure you don't end the year, honestly, with too little operating cash. And right now, our trend is we're heading that way.
Yeah, I think Blair can answer more, a few of the legal issues that the association is dealing with. She can give you from construction to expenses that are derived from a particular board member. We can highlight transparency to the unit owners so they know what's exactly. But I agree, and I brought this up with Carol at the meeting to help the unit owners that were there. The money needs to come from somewhere. So if these legal fees continue, we're not talking about the construction because our attorney needs to get involved with contract disputes and things like that. I'm talking about legal expenses that are costing us to deal with issues that we all know what they are. So, yes, we're going backwards. Here we are, we have huge savings in insurance, and these legal fees are becoming counterproductive. I can tell you offhand a tally of the legal fees the association has paid, and I like to view it as what could we have done with that money? Whereas I would have paid 1/3 of resurfacing our tennis courts. We're at $8,414.37. That is dealing with allegations from a particular board member that we've had to involve legal. I will update you this afternoon, one of those items that came to the board's attention that we are spending legal fees on to respond. And this is going to continue, and we're already facing at nearly $8,500 and climbing. So I want to make sure this is transparent and you understand where we are with legal fees. And as I suggested to the board and the unit owners there, you must be aware of what this is costing us, because it's not going to stop. It's just going to continue.
want to reserve this, because I know that's directed to me. And I've been working with also Sergeant Christopher King in regards to these
Can you
matters.
answer her question?
I'm getting to it. I made a statement first. So, in regards to those fees, I have a breakdown of the legal. Actually, Judah removed all the transactions in the general ledger that was in the accounting files. I don't know why they're not there anymore. I looked like I ran a report on June, but I have an itemized list of what all the legal fees were, and a lot of them cost Levi and to other aspects of the menu here. So I know there's a lot of tension on this board because of all the issues that have surfaced.
No, but my question is,
And
why
it's-
are we all paying money from our pockets of someone here on this
Because
table?
you're not just paying for that, you're paying for contractors, they're doing extra
No,
work.
this,
They're doing extra work.
extra money that was
In the
accounted
spirit of
for.
transparency, Mr. Sean Martin.
Amazing.
Yeah, see?
Great.
That's transparency.
Well, you know what, when you break laws, that's what happens.
Ma'am, you still have a minute, 30 seconds. Do you have anything else?
Just the pool, I wanna use the pool with my kids.
Yeah. The board is done.
Oh, cause it still has a sticker.
No, that's the sticker.
Yeah, there's a sticker
The
that
pool is
says
still closed.
warning.
Why is the pool still closed? Well, it's not.
Yeah,
on
we're talking about that.
Let's get to the agenda. All right, Cheryl.
Yes, regarding the community thing and how much money there is left. And I guess most of it's for painting, and hopefully resurfacing as some type of tennis court. What about the huge potholes that are around in our parking that we're ruining our tires? It's just, that has not been resurfaced in, I don't know. I don't think, I've been here since 2004, I've never seen it resurfaced. There have been little patches, but that's it.
Correct. So that's part of the funds that's needed. So there is in the reserve, how much, 60,800. We do have patched over the years because we knew that this huge project was coming and it was going to get destroyed at some point with the heavy trucks. So what we're planning to do, as the phases, I'm going to ask the management company, as the phases complete, to get an estimate what resurfacing would cost. So that would be the end touch of this project, right? A lot of money has been spent on restoring and so forth. So we want to do that, and we also want to see, like we redid the whole pool with our savings with our operating account. We want to see if we can also do that with some of the monies needed to resurface and also restore our tennis courts once this is all done. So those are all plans we want to do. We were able to do the pool because the board diligently watched what we were spending and it made sense. But I agree with you. So if there are issues with, can you please walk the phases, anything that is a deep hole, can you please have it patched properly? So that we can hold on to this, because I don't know if you viewed phase 4 during the roofing project, these heavy trucks.
And garbage trucks.
Shifted some of the sidewalks and so forth, so we've got to, we're going to resurface, and that's something I've brought up to many unit owners that I would like to see done and bring to the board once the phase is complete, and we please at least get estimates. Can you, Mike, just to get an idea of what each phase cost, to see what it would to resurface the community and pay plumbers and so forth, just to get an idea of what today's costs are, to keep that in mind
At
as
least
we.
to fill some of those holes at this
Well,
point.
the fill-
Oh, the fill's gonna be done,
Well,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what
but
it
like
is.
phase 2, huge holes, not far from the mailbox.
Yes.
Agreed, agreed, yeah.
And that's just, you can't get around it.
Yeah, and phase 4 has a huge root that's lifted
Okay,
up.
but this is not the budget.
Right,
that's
okay.
the end.
That's just regarding the budget.
Sorry, okay, yes. Cheryl, you still have some time left, do you let me know?
We'll move on to the next.
Okay. Sorry, you said. Yes, ma'am.
Could you please clarify for me, you said in phase 2 with 3 bedrooms is 602. Is that included the maintenance and the loan, or how much is in total?
This is just the main.
Just in that, the 602 just the what, the maintenance?
correct?
So besides that is the loan.
Right, so 17 of your homeowners have paid their share of the special assessment in full. The rest of you are going into the loan. You'll be getting new coupons for that as well. That payment will start July 15th. So that's an additional amount every month for 20 years.
Yes, so
Yes.
this is, let's see, for example, 602 plus 357, so it's $400 more.
Are
So it will
you in phase
In
3?
phase 2 with 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
So
So
it's
it's
for-
354, yeah, 354 a month for the special assessment home.
Yes, so it's going to be around 400, so it's 1,200, 1,002, around that for 20 years. That's what it is, right?
Well, I can't say what the maintenance is gonna be every year, but for right now, your maintenance will be 602, as we discussed, and then the special assessment will be 354. So basically, it'll be about $960.
So it's still extremely high, so how we're going to pay reserves or anything else or the liens that we own with this amount of money monthly? That's a lot.
What is?
Because we have liens that we need to pay at the end, we have
Please
other
refer
liens
to
that we need
Your
to pay.
certification fines until the project's over. and you can
Oh, okay,
post
that's a
it.
question for your attorney, because a lot of those fines and
No
all
way
those
goes out.
fees, the city will waive almost, I wouldn't say how much, but a lot of the money.
Can I make one interjection there? The attorney said in this meeting.
I'm
they
sorry,
said-
Sean, you haven't been
No,
called.
the
She's still
question is,
speaking.
so, but anyway, it's a lot of money that we need to continue paying. And also, we are talking about reserves and a lot of things that is getting, that we need more and more to the budget. So we are talking about a lot more money about this, basically. It's a lot,
This gentleman's gonna leave.
Ma'am, you still have some time. Do you have any other questions?
Well, I think I don't have any more, so
Okay.
that's,
If you
that's
do,
a lot of
you
money.
can always do another round.
Wait, Joe.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this is no reserve still, correct?
That's correct.
Do you have a number with reserves?
Not on this budget, because we waived them for this year.
The only reason why I asked
Yeah.
is because we're lowering it now, but why are we gonna keep doing the same thing that's been happening? And then we're gonna end up in the same position again, 10 years down the road. You know, if it's $100 extra from 5 to 6, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue, I just don't wanna deal with $1,200 again. You know, or 1,053, like, that's like crazy.
Yeah, so when I do the budget each year, we're required to put fully funded reserves in there.
Yeah.
The best time to be honest with you, when you haven't been funding reserves, the best time to start funding them is after you do all this work.
Yeah.
Because then it brings everything way down and extends the life over the time frame we can collect the money.
I got you.
So it really does make sense. And what I would do is, and you can do partially funded reserves as well with the proper vote again. So when we do the budget for 2025, we're gonna have in there fully funded reserves. And then, it might be too soon still for a lot of people, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it might be something maybe for the next year that you wanna consider at least starting to partially fund reserves.
Yeah, I
And
just
as we
didn't,
move forward.
I didn't see it on the paper that I got, so I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, on this one, we didn't need to include it because you have already waived the reserves
And
for
then,
this year,
another question, so we're gonna be paying for that special assessment starting this month,
July.
but our phase doesn't look like it's gonna be touched anytime soon.
Mhm.
Originally, when I came to the meeting, I was told that we were gonna be paying that after we started our work, but, I mean, there's no indication of anything in phase one. I mean, fences are falling off in my house, like, I'm about to pay for them myself, so.
Yeah, I can't comment about that, but I will tell you, the special assessment, believe it or not, that Florida statute, the work doesn't have to start at the same time you're paying. So a lot of associations, believe it or not, they collect the money in advance, and you kind of did that. For 10 years, you were collecting like $40 to $50 a month per owner that we were putting aside. So in a sense, you started that process.
Well, I'm just wondering when that changed from we're gonna pay starting after they're doing the work to now phase 4 is done and we're gonna be paying and we're not even touched. You know, apparently it's changed so many times, so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with that, you know?
That's a question when we end budget.
Okay.
We have a Oster in the project manager coming, it's a perfect question to say. We just wanna talk about strictly.
No, that's fine, you said one question, so I wanna make sure I get everything that I want,
Understood.
you know.
We still have a little bit more time, sir, do you have any other questions?
No,
Okay.
I have
Wait, hold on a second. Yes, hold on a second, let's get questions. Go ahead. We'll get to the
Yeah.
board.
So I just want to talk, we talked about the transparency, right? And I just want to be transparent because the squeaky wheel gets the oil and, you know, Sean to be squeaky wheel. But the truth of the matter is there's been other litigation against the Omega Villas this year that has nothing to do with Sean, including 2 cases of you guys going after people that are late on their HOA fees, foreclosing on their homes. So one of the other ones was for, let's see, because it's public record on Broward County Clerk Courts, it's for damages, probably from the roofs. I know, I was this close to filing a suit. So I know that it costs the community, but at the same time, when people aren't seeing changes for a long time, and then are hit with huge bills, and a lot of people in this community are on fixed incomes, then they're gonna get their home foreclosed on too. And Sean was settled on, and so was the other damages case was settled on. So I don't know where these funds are still continuing to come out unless it's just letters being sent from our attorneys.
Okay, so
Because I know I've sued.
you have a 2-part question, and it's good that Carol's here, so she can explain how finances and the association's obligation for owners that are in default. Carol?
Sure, so you have a policy in place that basically instructs us when to send what we call, the first letter is called the reminder letter, and when to send the required, what we don't call it, the state of Florida calls it a NOLA letter. NOLA is an acronym for Notice of Late Assessment. And about 3 years ago, 3 years ago now, Florida statute was amended to require associations to send a NOLA letter to a homeowner at their property and mailing address before that unit could be sent to legal collection for any kind of foreclosure action. So this was something that was put in Florida statute. It's nothing we wanted to do. It's nothing the boards wanted to do. It's just something that became law. So there's a policy in place, and after a certain time frame, if they don't respond, then they get a NOLA letter. The NOLA letter says you have 30 days in which to pay your account or show proof of payment, basically, is what it says. And that letter is sent, and it does have to have an affidavit of mailing done, which we do. So we have a list of all the letters, they're all kept electronically, we keep the summary, everything your attorney requires us to have, we have to keep. Because if an account does end up going to legal collection, we have to send all of that with it to the attorney so they can pursue it. So we don't do any demand letters or any legal letters or anything like that. So the NOLA letter basically is in the format that was required by Florida statute. We didn't make up the format either, just to explain it. And it basically says, as of a certain date, this is what you owed. And if there's a late fee or if there's any other fees allowed, it'll identify that as well. And this is the total, and if you dispute it, basically provide proof of payment, you have 30 days, or your account is in danger of going to collection, something along those lines. So after the time frame runs out, that's when that unit would get sent to the attorney, and then the attorney deals with it on a collection matter. So basically, that's the process that we do.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I got a question about the budget, actually. So in the budget, are we taking every expense like S&B Engineering, Cavalier, and Astra out of the special assessment account? Or is it coming out of the operations account? Or how's that working?
How do you code this?
Okay, so anything to do with the special assessment regarding the engineer or the contractor is all from the special assessment account. And we did have money in the old special assessment account, the money we've been collecting for years, that we've utilized some of that money as well. So everything has to do with, we call this special assessment number 4. The one where we were collecting the $40 to $50 a month for all those years, that was special assessment number 2.
Okay.
So those are the 2 accounts. And
So-
it's one bank account.
So we have a $4.6 million loan, and that's for Astra mostly, but S&D and Engineering is on top of that, which is in addition to the 4.85.
We had money set aside for almost $800,000 at one point.
Yeah, that's gone.
No,
$285,000 of that goes to escrow. Because there's only 4.6 in the loan. So for that plus 285 is 4.85 million.
Yeah, I don't have all my stuff with me regarding the special assessment, just to be honest with you, so I'd have to look up numbers and whatnot, because
And-
that's not part of the budget.
And as part of, one more question, comment about the legal fees. Part of that expense of the legal fees was, I'm guessing, was Hollander going after my property when I had to hire my own contractors for fixing my roof that you guys didn't do after the lawsuit. Yeah, I got the notes right here. And those notes are no longer in your system, I don't know why, but I was getting it right out of your general ledger online, but those notes are no longer there.
What's the question?
Yeah, so when you make a blank statement about those $8,000, most of those were, well, number one was towards the records when I tried to request those last year. That was $2,738, when they should have just been given to me. And then this year was my roof.
My recommendation to the unit owners is do records requests. You're entitled to, how many, what was it? No, every month, every 30 days, you can do a record request. For July 1st? Okay, so there is a due statute in July 1st. My recommendation to the unit owners, call Carol Eskew.
Don't call me.
Not you, call, not you specifically, but call her, and go through the proper record request. And look for yourself, that's your right, you should do it, right? So, in any event,
Just to let you know, the process for, and management, what's that? You always go to your manager first to request records. They will contact us and we'll provide them whatever they're missing. Because there has to be a formality in place. You have to prove you provided records. So it's usually done through management, just to let you know.
thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Ken?
The budget, water, you brought up the water. I think the big problem with that is we have landscapers that cut the water system. And we get double billed, you know, the water people come out and fix it. But then the landscapers, when they come out again, they cut it again. So we're getting slammed on that.
You cutting the heads or the pipes?
They're cutting the pipes and
They
the water
cut the
just being
pipes.
out. I mean, none of us use the association water washing the cars,
Well, where are the pipes exposed?
all over the place. I mean,
There were some back there.
They cut the sprinkler heads.
You're talking about sprinkler heads.
Yes.
And it's causing problems when they come out, they cut something, then we have to call FS, whatever the name is.
FS comes out once a month for a wet check.
And they repair it.
Yeah.
I mean, over here, the entrance of phase 3 right on the corner, there's a whole water system there. They took a tree out and busted everything up. I mean,
Yeah, unfortunately.
they never fixed it.
Well, yeah, as we're doing construction and when you remove, you know, trees or roots or anything like that, you can't help but to break the water systems and then you just have to fix those, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
Well, the
that's.
problem is they didn't.
Yeah, that does cause damage.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah.
But they should fix it right away because it's costing us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what the legal fee.
It took 2 months for them to come out and fix the pipe back there. There was a hole with a.
Granted,
There's a new one this week.
40 years old,
Yeah.
it's still on all, I mean, fixed on and off and on and off, and thousands of dollars were spent, and then we're like double dipping. Sprinkler guys get paid, landscapers are destroying, it comes out and gets paid again.
Well, right now, the biggest problem is the construction, and they're doing the fences, so as they're doing the holes for the new fences, yeah, and that happened this week, and I was here, and, main line got broke, so phase 4, we have, some main lines broken in several places, unfortunately.
And who pays for it?
It depends on how the contract is written, whether or not they're responsible for, pipes that they do, so.
We gotta find out.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, contractors put that they're not responsible for broken. Most of the time is what I've seen. Unless you have something specific in your contract, so you have to look at it, yeah.
Anybody else, Cheryl, you just spoke, anybody else want to speak for the first time? Yes,
Real quick, just FYI, I'm requesting records back in November. I called Judas and asked for special documents to be sent to me. I was told to send over an email, which I did, and I never got the documents.
So that email would have been forwarded back to management, just to let you know. And we don't just send documents, there's a formality, and usually, like I said, management comes back at us and says, if they don't have the documents.
When I called the office and asked about them, the girl told me to send over an email requesting them, and that was all that I was told. And that was all that I did, and I never got it.
I would put in another request, but right to management.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you.
So just so you know, there's a corporate resolution regarding the process of record requests that the board passed. It's in the portal, so you can also refer to that, and I'll give you the steps in the process to request records. Cindy, you still have a little bit more time.
No.
Anything else?
No, I'm
Anybody
good.
else want to ask the question for the first time? Yes.
With the new law coming to July 1st, will the budget be available online? Isn't that one of the stipulations in the 12 statutes?
I don't know. I don't think anything changed as far as what's required to be online. You already have,
It does actually, there's a whole thing
You
about
already have-
the records being
hold on,
available.
you already have online access, don't you?
We upload the financials too every month.
Yeah.
And the agenda and other things?
Yeah.
Are you on the portal? Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all in the portal.
It's all on the portal. All the monthly financials, when we get them, after they're reviewed, Eric uploads them. So you should check. If you don't have the portal access, just request it.
Can we get by the month too?
Can you what?
Get the financials by the month? I mean, we're all owners here.
I don't know, what is the standard to upload financials?
Well, you're gonna have to get your attorney to give you advice on what should be on there if you're not sure. There's a whole requirement in Florida statute of what's supposed to be on there and
And
where
the
it's supposed
timelines,
to be.
yeah.
But we're also
Yeah.
owners, and there's rights there too.
That goes for record requests, Sean, yes.
When do we have to start paying for reserves since we waived it this year?
Yeah, so there is no requirement for you to start paying for reserves by Florida statute because you're not a condominium of 3 stories or more. So you're exempt from that new law that everybody else is scurrying about with. So, but based on what this gentleman was saying, the sooner you can go ahead and consider, the less down the road, when these projects have to be redone, you're gonna have to pay.
Agreed, I'd just like to see more work done so we can drop that price.
Absolutely. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Any more questions from the unit owners regarding the mid-year budget? Yes, sir.
On the assessments per unit, we have the revised proposed 2024 and approved. What is the difference, or is that what we'll be voting on tonight?
I didn't hear, can you stand up and re-ask the question, please?
I'll try. Without common area and phase 1 reserves, on phase 1, it shows 583. Next column is approved 2023 without reserves, 441. Which is it?
Well, it's neither of those numbers, because we revised the
Yeah,
numbers.
revised it again tonight.
So are we, is that going to be voted on the
Well,
again?
the board votes on it, yes.
Okay.
So,
But there's a motion not on the floor.
Yeah.
She told you all of the new numbers.
were you in here?
I know the numbers, but the question is, you don't pay both of these numbers, you pay one or the other.
The 421 is 2023. That's last year. That's what we paid last year. So cross that off. Okay?
Okay,
It was just for comparison's
Yeah.
sake.
so 583 then.
Well, 583, depending on what phase, how many you know.
And how many bed-
He's got the right He's got it.
All right, any more questions regarding the mid-year budget review? Proposed new budget?
other.
Okay,
This is just your normal, regular maintenance.
regular aside
Yes.
from.
This is
the
gonna be it
projects.
from now till December, whatever the board votes tonight.
Okay,
The project is in concrete for right now, literally.
right, that's what I'm,
Yeah.
because of the
The
insurance.
insurance is the reason that
Yeah.
they're revising it.
Right, but they're not gonna revise it again, insurance. will
No,
not.
it just renewed,
It
so
was
it's
just,
12 months.
that was it, okay.
Yes.
So we'll get a renewal for our property insurance. Our property insurance renews June 6th, I believe. So at some point in May of next year,
Next year.
they go out to bid, well, maybe earlier, but they start bidding and looking, going out to the market. I mean, based on what Hector Molina said, the market is starting to
Cool down.
cool down a little bit.
Right.
Unless there's another
To flatten out.
disastrous storm season or whatever, but we're hoping we can see some relief again next year. So great news.
So we need a motion for
I got a
the.
question on
You,
it.
go ahead, hold on. Go ahead.
Sorry, Eric.
Concerning is, I don't know, should I ask it now or it has to do with assessment? And I agree that a whole totally different thing.
Well, Carol's here, so
Alright, what happens if, what happens if I make a motion tonight for the next 6 months that we don't pay the assessment? That'll give the unit owners a time of relief and we start it in January. What happens with the loan?
Well, you can't do that because anything to do with a special assessment must be mailed out to every homeowner and posted at least 14 days in advance of a meeting. So you can't do any changes to that special assessment because you already voted on that last November or December, I forget when we did it. But you've already voted on this and when it
But
was
I
started.
can't, so you're saying that I can't undo it,
You can't undo it tonight.
but I can do it at the next board meeting?
Well, no, not at the next
There's a
board meeting.
timeline, right?
No, I'm saying, next board meeting's in July, so if I say,
It has to all be, you'd have to talk to your attorney, and I'm not gonna give you legal advice, you know me, Eric, I'm not gonna do that. So what I'm gonna tell you is that your attorney would have to give us instruction, because you can't change anything on that special assessment without doing a proper notice and meeting, which is 14 days.
okay, but, so I understand that. What happens with the loan though, since, finance?
Well, you're paying the interest on all the money that you're drawing down so far.
Okay,
So the interest, you're paying that.
okay,
We only pay interest because it's a construction loan and it's a line of credit. You only pay the interest on the monies you've drawn down. You don't pay principal back until we're done basically with the work.
right. So if, okay, say for instance again, if I was to make, we did the 14-day notice, we do it, and we say, okay, for the next 6 months, will that also give us enough time for unit owners who wants to pay the full amount, they still pay the full amount for the next 6 months?
That's a difficult one because you're gonna be running into, the more draws you do, the more interest you're paying every single month. And we're gonna get to a point where we're not gonna have the cash, because you're gonna be using up the monies that we've set aside to pay the loan back, just to pay this extra interest.
So you're saying that an extra 6 months would affect it interest-wise?
Yes.
That's it.
And that interest could be 150,000 to it, I don't know what it's gonna be.
Right.
I don't wanna tell you a number, because I don't know how fast you're gonna draw the monies down,
Right.
so.
So how can we find out how effective this is?
First, you gotta talk to your attorney and see what your attorney recommends. And then we'll have to have some kind of a meeting to determine if you can even extend this, and if you can, how long you can extend it for. Because originally we
And how it
talked
will
about.
affect us, basically,
Right.
owners,
Exactly.
at the end of the day.
And one more thing, and where are the coupons at in the process?
Sure. So I was gonna talk about that.
Okay.
So with the budget, I'm ready to order the coupons tomorrow, and like I said, this new budget will go out with those coupons. I was going to wait at least 4 or 5 days, because I don't want the coupons going out at the same time for the special assessment. So I was gonna wait on the special assessment coupons till next week sometime. Now, there are 17 homeowners that have paid in full. They're done. They've paid their share of this $4.6 million special assessment. There are one more homeowner made 5 of the 6 payments. We have tried to contact this person. We've had no luck. responded to us. So I don't know if they're at the meeting tonight. I don't know if, I'm not gonna say the name, I'm gonna leave it to Patty, whether she wants to say the name of the person. I don't know what else to do to try to contact this person. I think honestly, March payment never came through. I think it's lost in the mail. We got all the other payments,
It's a shame, because it's such a low amount. I don't recognize this.
not that amount, this person here. This person, they missed the
This person?
payment. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, this
Yeah,
person, this person was $74 short. We've been trying to contact them.
You know what, I'm going to reach out to her. She's in phase 3, but she's an elderly and has
Yeah,
a
because there's a trust
caretaker.
there.
Let me call her.
Thank you.
Yes.
This other person has $74 owed. They shorted it by $74. I'm sure it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
So I want them, we've been trying to get hold of them, but we didn't have a number.
Until when does she have to send payment?
Well, listen, she needs to do it ASAP, based on what everything is in place now. I'll give my other guy. Yeah, I have the,
Someone who wants to know.
Oh, perfect, her contact.
please, and what about this person? They only owe $74.
I have no idea.
They also only owe $74?
No, this person owes this amount, Pat,
Okay.
right here, this amount. This person only owes $74, I've got it up here.
I've never met that unit or case where they may be investors. I don't know who they are.
What do you see?
Okay.
I haven't seen 08 phase 4. Anybody know the owner?
Just take this.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What if okay, so the loan goes into effect. What if you come up with the money after the fact?
Yes, so once a year, you can pay your share in full, if you choose to. So, if you're at that point, call my office, we will give you what we call the buyout at that point. The bank loan allows us to re-amortize the loan once a year. So what happens is, and I recommend that you do this around November, if you're gonna do it, because you're gonna pay interest through December of whatever year you do it. So, I would tell you, call us, we can tell you what your payout is, because sometimes people do this. It's also, remember, if you sell your unit, this is due upon resale. You voted on that, right? Yeah. This is due upon resale, so it's gonna be on the estoppel. The title company is gonna collect this money. And again, they're gonna collect it through December of that year, because the loan can be paid down once a year. So, you can pay it off going forward. So if in 2-3 years you decide, you know what, I'm in a position to pay this off now, just call my office, we'll give you the payoff through the end of that year, and then we'll tell you, send the check around the end of November, and then we pay your share down and you're done.
Yes, in regards to the interest for the loan, if you do the math, you're paying a lot more.
Tremendous.
So, double, but it's not the 10% that we've been talked about.
It's 7 point something.
Yeah, interest doesn't work like that. Interest is over the life of the loan.
Sure.
So it's like your mortgage, it's the same thing.
Of course.
So, you know, in the end, you're gonna pay 3 times the price of your house, typically, 2 to 3 times. If you pay it off over 30 years versus pay it in cash, right? So this is unfortunately, same kind of deal.
So in the event that somebody like us, we don't have money to pay the windows, I don't know if this is the right time to ask it or not, but if we don't have the money to pay the windows, does that mean they're not gonna do our roof?
That's a legal question. I would pose that question to legal to see what the options are.
Do we get an attorney and to send the attorney a letter or?
I can send an email. I can send an email to the accounting firm, not accounting, to the legal firm, and ask them to recap.
Okay.
Veronica?
Vanessa.
Vanessa Wolf. Okay, Vanessa. I'll ask Rhonda at this point. There's a lot of unit owners have the same question.
That's
Yes,
a
I
good
guess-
question. That's a good question. Could you post, like in the forum or something,
put it, once I get a legal opinion, we can probably post it in under the project folder in the portal. I don't know if you've seen the different phases, maybe under general, we can post something. Let me ask you something, Eric. Every time you post something, does it send out a notice that something new is posted? Because I don't get it.
No, that's,
You can't? Is that a feature you have?
no, but I could, if you want me to, I could, as long as we everybody's phone on again, I could say, this is posted, that, I can do that. And send a mass text.
We can also add it to the newsletter, since we have that information out.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I just wanted to know that this year, if I decide that I want to pay the loan in full, my home, can I still do it or will I have to wait for next year? Because you said something about once a year.
Right, no, you can still do it this year. It's just that we can't do it, I mean, I don't know what your time frame is. So, and depend upon what Eric's question, the answer to Eric's question is from earlier. So what I would tell you is, yes, you can do it this year. Just watch your information from the association. But if not, if nothing changes around November, if you want to do it, just contact my office. Yes, you can do it this year. Absolutely. Yes.
Could you pay, this year, say, pay $10,000 towards the 30? Or does it have to be the full 30?
Has to be in full. If you put it, there is one homeowner that has something like that, and they're going into the loan. You go into the loan if you don't pay it in full.
But could they pay the 10,000 now and have the loan repayment be a little smaller for themselves? Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
But they have an option next November to pay it off, right?
Pay it
They
off.
have a position.
Yeah. Any year. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So,
Any other budget-related questions before we let Carol go?
so there is a motion on the table by you, Patty, to accept the revised budget. Is there a second? Okay. Okay. And all in favor? Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol.
Carol,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, Carol. Okay, I make a motion for adjournment for the budget meeting.
I'll second the motion. All right, everybody, I make a motion. Okay, we're going right into the regular board meeting. Again, we have a full agenda, responsible to make sure we go through the agenda items, same rules apply, please, and cooperation is appreciated. And you allow the board to discuss. Please, I don't want to be here until 10 o'clock at night. So,
We have everyone's attention, please.
the meeting's been called to order. This is Tuesday, June 25th. This is a regular June board meeting. As I mentioned before, we have a full agenda. The same rules apply that I explained for the budget meeting. Every unit owner will have an opportunity to speak on an agenda item. You'll get a second opportunity to speak once all unit owners have had the chance to speak once. All right, let's go. We'll establish a quorum, review of prior meeting minutes.
Okay, they were sent out, and we have a bunch of them. So I need to know from you guys what needs to be changed, updated, passed. Sorry, turn that down.
So sorry, I don't know what's going on. Turn it off.
Okay. All right. So, did Sean leave? Oh, okay. All right, so, the first one was April 2nd, that was sent out. I had a note on that we did not vote, I don't believe, on the legal committee. So does anybody know about that? Can anybody provide any information on that?
That was recommended by Rhonda.
Right.
And I think people thought it was a good idea, but we never actually voted on whether
Exactly.
we wanted to do a legal committee.
Okay, so in my notes, I'm going to say that it was not voted on, it was suspended. Okay?
I have a different understanding.
Yeah, I have a different understanding.
It was voted
Yeah.
on,
I made a
and the
motion.
persons on the legal committee was Blair, Eric, and myself. It was voted on.
Okay,
And those are the three people, I remember that, because I asked you at the last meeting,
okay,
well, when are we gonna have a meeting? And you
Okay.
said you didn't know. Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
so,
it was voted on.
okay. But I don't have anything
You know what,
about
I'm gonna see if I recorded April 2nd.
Okay, if you would, so we
So we
don't,
can't approve this.
okay, so April 2nd is not approved.
Okay.
Okay,
But you know what? Can we make a motion to approve the minutes without that part?
well, Patty, how long will it take for you to find that information?
I will just have to go back to the SD cards that I have. and look
Okay.
at everything.
Can you do that within the next day or two?
I can't promise I'll try. Okay?
Okay. Well, let me ask, Sean, we have a question about April 2nd's meeting. We don't know if the legal committee was ever voted on. If there was a motion, could you please check your recordings and let us know whether you have any information on that?
I'll look and see.
Okay, April 2nd.
April 2nd. Got it.
Yes, thank you. So if you could get that information to me within the next day or so, then I can update this and send it back out. Okay?
I'll take a look and see what I can see.
All right. Thank you, appreciate that. So the next one was, minutes. The next one was April 23rd. And I don't believe there were any questions about that. That was a board meeting that we had with a regular board meeting. So is there any concern about that one, April 23rd? No, okay. So do I have a first and a second to approve those and get them posted? Okay, so, all right.
So there's a motion on the table to approve April 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes as written.
Okay.
Anybody want a second? I'll second.
Thank you, Marjorie.
All in favor? This one's approved.
Okay. Okay. Well, did you,
Yeah, I'm gonna abstain to that. I mean, meetings 2 months ago, I don't recall, I got a lot going on. Okay, so I abstained from that. I'm not voting on that.
okay, all right. Okay, so May 21st. All right. There were no questions about that I had in my notes. Did anybody have any concerns about that particular write-up?
Was that with the interviews?
No, this was a regular board meeting.
Yeah, you weren't doing that one.
You were absent. Yeah, you were absent, yeah. I reviewed this, I remember that meeting when we introduced the solid foundation, proposal for the foundation work, the bids, that one, and, Alpha. So I did read, I didn't see anything that stood out, I mean, it was accurate as it can be.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to accept the May 21st, 2024 minutes as written.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. All right. The next one was May 29th. And this was with Hector Molina, who brought us all the good news about the insurance situation. And I don't have any notes in mind that indicate any problem with that? So does anybody want to make any
Anyone make a
comments or
motion
changes?
to accept?
Okay,
First and second? All
Okay.
in favor? Aye. Meeting minutes are accepted as written. Right now, we're into,
actually, I had done some minutes, when we interviewed Mike Graffiti on that same date, on the 29th. That was a closed door meeting. I don't know that we, post closed door meetings, do we?
I'm not sure. How is the statute handle closed door meetings?
Okay.
You don't need to post closed door meetings?
Okay. Okay, all right, so, great, thank you, Jake. All right, the next one was June 4th, which was the workshop that we had at Judah Eskew. I had no concerns about that one, I think I had all that information, so, if there is any comments or notes that people want to, mention on that. Okay, so do I have a motion to accept? Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a vote?
In favor? Is that June 4th, 2024 minutes as written?
Right. Okay, and then, sorry, is this the one that is the question? Yes, I think this is the. Okay, I'm sorry, April 16th, we need to go back to that one. My apologies, so, I had some questions on that one. This was, a construction meeting, and I did not find anything in my notes about discuss and find solutions for doors and windows in phase 1, 2, and 3, and discuss non-compliance unit owners to those. So I don't think we ever discussed that. So I'm going to make a motion that these minutes be accepted, be approved with the correction to the minutes saying that this was not discussed.
What was not discussed?
The finding solutions to the windows and doors in 1, 2, and 3, and non-compliance with unit owners.
Didn't we say we were gonna get legal to help us answer those questions?
Okay, so- Okay,
There.
okay.
So that one stays on the table. We didn't get a second.
Well, okay, I'm gonna make a motion that it be accepted with the change to those two last line items saying that it was not discussed at the meeting.
All right.
And there
Do
was,
we want a second? I'm not comfortable with this one.
Okay, well,
I'm still not.
okay, so, all right, so we'll come back to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't understand that.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so at this point,
Because it was discussed, we just didn't find, we didn't get a solution.
okay,
No.
okay. All right, so at this point, according to me, I have the April 2nd and the April 16th that need further information before they can be posted on the website. Correct. Okay,
We
so,
still have one more, May 14th. Is this a duplicate maybe?
I think it was May 14th, was that the one that was Mike Graffiti? That was a closed door meeting?
This has to do with NGMA, oh, this is the interview with,
Right, yeah.
with a, manager.
A vendor, right. So, yeah.
So you wanna make a motion to accept?
I guess we can.
Okay. This May 14, 2024 meeting was one of our interviews with the potential management company. I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. That concludes the pending, so, I'll give you just for the record, 23rd, May 14th, June 4th, May 29th, May 29th, there's two. May 21st and April 23rd are cleared to post on the portal. Okay, officers' reports. Treasurer, financial review.
Okay, finances, all right, and this is, okay, that's the wrong folder, sorry. This. Okay, so, on the, assessments, our maintenance, as of May 31st, phase 1 has $3,324 in arrears. One of those units is in legal. Phase 2 has $1,117 in arrears. None are in legal. Phase 3 has $23,399 in arrears. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Phase 3? That's phase 3?
Phase 3, $23,399.
Somebody told me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those are in legal. Okay. And phase 4, we have $11,478 in arrears. 1 is in legal. The total in arrears is $39,318.
So that's taking up significant legal as well. These items.
Well,
Stuff gets
sure,
paid
because
back.
when they're in legal, yes.
Paid back, yeah.
When they're in legal, they've already been sent to the attorney.
Right.
Right, and we have to send them to the attorney if we want to try to get paid.
Yes.
If we don't get paid, we're going to go to foreclosure and try to recoup our money. We have to unfortunately do that.
No, I understand.
Okay.
They still putting in legal.
Once they
So
are
we
here.
can, so, you know, a couple of years ago, when the bank brought it, we didn't get it down. Well, that's why we decided to put a lien on it at the beginning from Jump Street, so we can get our money.
And that's going to be a question for
Okay, yeah, because, you know, when did we change that? You know, we can't do that.
Okay, as far
That's
as.
something I think that they should know, that what you just mentioned, which is.
I was just saying, if a NOLA is sent out, usually what happens is, the unit owner has to pay the legal fees in addition to
Yes.
what
Oh,
is
Yes,
done in order for them not to go into foreclosure.
right, exactly. So we may recoup some legal
You
fees.
should, you
Yes.
probably most of
Right.
them, yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay, as far as the special assessment restoration, you know, that little $50-ish a month, we have still two people that have not paid. They are both in legal, and the total amount of that is $1,007. Okay? Right? Okay, now, the insurance increase, you know, last year we got that insurance increase we had to pay every month from about the last 6 months of the year. Okay, in phase 1, we have $2,208 that is past due. One of those is in legal. On phase 2, we have $2,619 past due. 2 are in legal. In phase 3, we have $4,777 past due. 3 of those are in legal, actually 4 of those are in legal. And in phase 4, we have $1,766. 2 of those are in legal. Total past due, still owing from our insurance increase last year, is $11,370. Okay? have paid in full. We have collected as of May 31st for the restoration project, $240,163. So that's a nice little chunk of change.
Question, okay. That's being separate, it's not coming in with other funds, correct?
Of course it's not. Okay, so, as far as our bank goes, all right, in our operating account, we have, again, as of May 31st, $220,550. In our reserve account, we have $137,253. In our security account, we have $13,516. And in the special assessment 2 and 4, which is the insurance and the paying off the loan, $464,995. So our total cash on hand as of May 31st is $837,314. Okay. Now, as of our spending, as Carol mentioned, the water and sewer is over significantly what we budgeted for the year. We budgeted, year to date, we budgeted almost $14,000. We are over by about $6,500. For insurance, of course, we know that that situation is going to come down, so I'm not going to even talk about that. Okay. Tree trimming, we are over by almost $10,000. That will even out as we go on through the year because we have a lump sum payment, but we accrue it every month. Okay. Same irrigation repairs is over by about $2,000. The legal, as Carol mentioned, we are over on that by $18,565. Again, hopefully some of that will be recouped on those situations. And on postage, printing, and administration, we are over by about $3,600. And all of that is because of all of the stuff we've been mailing out, okay? And having to remail, and remail, and remail, because we're not getting responses from the owners, okay? So that's where we're at this point.
Thank you, Blair.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Right,
Specific.
next item on the agenda, updated communications project, general updates from the secretary.
We have the newsletter template station. We're waiting for an update on phase 3 so that we can give everybody an update of what's going on for phase. We also have links to the portal, so if you haven't used it or not familiar with the website, so we'll have that. Our goal is to have it out to the board by the end of this week, and then it'll be sent out to the unit owners. And in there we'll have the information for the previous meetings, and we have contact information, just easy access for everybody to get a hold of.
General updates.
Yeah.
Anything else, Elizabeth? Anything for Elizabeth?
Questions, comments, concerns?
Good. Next, updates. I sent an email to the board. We need to ratify the SD engineering proposal for phase 4. That is the external wall work. One of the units had moisture proposal we have, or one particular unit, they did testing, they sensed humidity behind the stucco, so all that had to be done and so forth.
So that structural work is included in the ASTRO contract, why isn't it?
No,
I mean, it's in there, it's in there.
the Ostro comes after them and does, they have to chip away to the cylinder block, the CD block, and actually do the repairs. Monica could probably give you a lesson on the work, they do water testing, and then once SD finishes, then Ostro does
Oh,
their.
that's your book? Oh,
No,
yeah,
no,
no.
no.
But question, and what is the total for that? Because I don't recall seeing that proposal.
Well, Sean, I sent it to you, and we'll talk about responses from the board. Your response, and I'll quote, I have the email, because you claimed you didn't get it. You state, May 23rd, 2024, you sent us an email at 9:10 a.m. I am here requesting a sense of urgency. Board, please reply. Your reply is, I've been dealing with my attorneys in the City of Plantation's internal affairs and work, so I will review when I have time. So you're more than happy to look at an email I sent that you
Was that
responded.
the foundation repair?
No, there's two separate things. The
Okay.
foundation is totally separate. This has to do with the walls.
So how many more of these we're gonna have in the
Well, this proposal is for the ones that were identified in phase 4.
and how much is that?
5 units. This is, you have that in my
You just
contract.
told me, it's in front of you right there.
Contract proposal, it's by unit. So unit 1764, 7500, 1737 is 5650, 1741 is 11525, 1745 is 3750, and 1749 is 3750. And then there's the contract included the scope of work, the engineer put a detailed list of quantities and exact items that have to be done. So I want to put a motion that we ratify and accept the proposal. SD finished 2 units already. We're waiting for solid foundations to attend to the foundation issue in order for them to finish the other 3 units. So, again, if you need a copy of the proposal, I'll resend it to you. So I want to make a motion that we ratify and accept.
Patty,
Yes.
before you make a motion, did you say 1709 was in there?
We're talking about phase 4.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, this is just phase 4. I make a motion to accept S&D Engineering Construction Division, May 17, 2024 budget, so sorry. Proposal regarding the units in phase 4, 1764, 1737, 1741, 1745, and 1749.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I also put on
Sean, I'm
my.
sorry, did you vote on that?
I'm not gonna vote because I didn't see because I have a problem with S&D, and we'll get that later.
Okay, so
But I guess
Marjorie, I just asked you a yes or no
Okay.
question. Did you vote?
I'm just saying,
You're abstaining from
Thank
voting,
you.
Sean, we need it for the record.
I'm not gonna vote on that right now.
Okay, please
Okay,
abstain.
did you vote, Miriam? I didn't see. Okay, thank you.
All right, on to the next, just FYI, I shared with you HI Safety First Corporation. There was a unit owner that wanted us to check the unit for a mold assessment, so the mold testing proposal, which is $750, was emailed to you all. Because the sensitivity of this, we need to officially get it mold tested before any remediation can take
Are you gonna, test my unit too, or no?
Yours is a legal issue, so you, that last time we talked, that you were going to have your attorney call Rhonda. Is it not?
No, that Rhonda already has.
She has the test?
She should.
Did the association, send the testing to be done, or did your attorney send the testing?
Attorney did.
Okay, so we're gonna have to follow up with Rhonda. Did you get the results?
No, I didn't.
They didn't show you? Okay, I'll ask her if she received anything.
Okay, but still, did you vote on this? You voted to approve it? Okay.
All right, the other item under me is I forwarded you the, it's a 163-page report. This is our updated, much needed appraisal report that was required by the insurance. Yeah, right? And I like the pictures. I don't know if you have the capacity of uploading 163 pages.
Can't do it. I don't think so.
So-
Break it up and.
If anybody wants a
Compress it.
copy, if any unit owner would like a copy of the appraisal report, just go through the proper records request. And then the management company will send you a copy.
That needs to be bounded, so.
The insurance has it,
Yeah.
it's just something I printed in case anybody want to look at it, but all the board members received a copy. All right, now we're on to VP, general updates.
None.
Nothing?
That's quick.
Now, I have on our agenda
Yes.
also project manager update, but not here. My suspicion is since we're having a construction meeting on Thursday, maybe they got confused, and they said, well, we're gonna have a construction meeting on Thursday, why come on Tuesday?
I spoke to Larry this afternoon because he was a no show, no call. But at 10 o'clock appointment with me this morning.
Yes.
And when I pulled out, I said to him, I said, no show, no call, whatever. And he forgot. I said, we are having a meeting this evening. He said, yes, sure. Yeah, I think it's just over.
Yes, they're aware of it, because I always
Yeah.
send them, our names.
So
So
he's
we're
supposed to.
gonna have to, skip this agenda item, the non-present, so I'm assuming that it's because we have a construction meeting on Thursday.
Right.
Where's Jay? Did he host the meeting today?
I think he did.
He was doing it now?
He knew about it, so.
All right.
I'll be sure to be.
So, yeah, so there's a meeting on Thursday at 6:30 here in the clubhouse. It's a construction meeting with the board. Project manager, I assume an engineer is gonna be here, representative from Oscar, which most likely will be Doran, will be here to give us project updates. We'll have a Q&A, questions and concerns. We'll find out what's the latest and greatest of the other phases. Where the permits pulled, all that. So I encourage everybody to come, so you have to ask questions.
Now, I have a comment on the contractors real quick.
On the what?
On the contractors, on S&D Engineering and also on Astro. One of the unit owners brought it to my attention. She pulled the record, and there's a lot of negligence lawsuits on Broward County Court reports against Astro, number one. And then also, we found an arrest record for Astro for assault. So, we need to give these contractors a little more special attention when they're telling us things and we're thinking of them as an expert. Now, Astro doesn't, we did further research into Astro, and Levi doesn't even, he's not even the general contractor on our account. His son is, and he's an IT guy. And this is a guy that's providing us expert information for these projects. So,
Will you allow me to answer your 5-part question?
Sure.
Okay, so the first question was?
first of all, were you aware of all the lawsuits that they have?
Okay, so let me tell you something about construction world. It is not uncommon for contractors to get in a dispute with a client. Go ahead, since you love to Google things.
They have negligence with Dunkin' Donuts for the same issues that you didn't face for all those units that have water leaks that you
Google
didn't tell us
all
about.
the big construction companies.
I've got pictures and the addresses.
Let's finish.
Okay?
Construction industry is a very high-risk industry. Why? Because they're dealing with workers at different skill levels and accidents can happen. It's not uncommon. I encourage you to Google the big hitter construction companies. You'll see lawsuits for everything. That's the nature of the beast. What we're concerned about is that the work gets done, whatever defects are noted, that the contractor is responsible and comes back and redoes, which so far we have.
And what about the fences and the gates?
Again,
Are they done?
Clearly they're not.
Well, I saw old gates that were put up in replace of gates.
no, Sean.
Yes, I did, I saw one.
Sean, there's a new gate crew, which I'm not many
Yes.
believe that's on.
Because we got some.
They're very good.
They're very good.
They've been at it. They're
Yeah,
very, very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There was a police report filed on the old
Yeah,
gate
yeah,
company
yeah.
against
so
Levi.
let's talk
Last
about,
That's why we have.
here's another example. I'll bring back, it's probably my 5th example where he shares partial information. What he doesn't tell you is that incident with Levi that's on Broward County court records, adjudication was withheld. Do you all know what adjudication withheld means?
Well, why was there this situation there?
Well, someone
Because we
witnessed
didn't always witness it.
and the same behavioral issues one can say about you, Sean.
Really?
You
I've
need
never
to go
attacked
to
anybody.
anger
I've
management.
never attacked anybody.
Okay, you need.
You hit me.
Oh,
You-
please.
All right,
I don't know.
we're bringing it back. I'm not letting you derail
I'll do a
this
video.
association. I'm answering your
Okay.
question. I'm answering your question. So, the answer to your question is not uncommon, it's unfortunate. I can tell you, go ahead and look up Thornton, Styles Construction. Go Google lawsuits. You work with Styles. It's not uncommon because unfortunately, they work with third-party individuals and someone does something and they own up to it. So far, they've owned up
But
to
there's
it.
been a lot of roofs that have to be redone because they didn't pass inspection and.
They passed inspection, okay?
But then why were they still leaking after it rained?
Because the one roof was her roof, and the nail to that roof caused
Well,
a
there was
slight.
another one.
You're not letting her talk, man. Come on, be
Okay, go.
respectful.
Okay, go.
There was a stud, the nail stud got stuck and it drained all throughout my apartment. So yes, the guys had to come out and patch it, or whatever it is called. But come on, and the other thing
You
also
were the
is,
only one though.
no, I am not.
That's what I'm
No.
saying. Okay.
The
Let her
thing-
finish, please. Show her respect and let her finish.
Well, I thought she was.
No.
Okay,
No.
well,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
The other thing also is, when you have all these people here, and we're taking all the time just specifically for your unit and everything else, this is a whole board meeting, it's not strictly the
We
show.
understand that.
And the other thing for Patty is that paperwork with the pictures and stuff, is that the paperwork that we had to send to the insurance company?
No, you were talking about the updated property insurance.
Okay, because they said to me, they called me back and they said that the fax never went through.
Okay. I have the fax, transmission where you can send them, we'll refax it, I'll refax it for you.
All right,
cool.
I have a comment.
One moment, are you finished? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. All right, go ahead.
When there's such a big project, is there not room for errors?
There's also transparency
That's life.
too.
Okay,
Tell
that's
people
just
about it.
any project you have. Things are going to happen.
Yeah, but you
How
don't-
they are, can I finish? How they are handled, how quickly they are handled, and the outcome is what's important.
That's it.
I had a builder call me, it was raining for days, they had an issue. It was being addressed, it was being taken care of. They can't repair
In the
roof leaks during rain.
Right.
Okay.
Errors happen. I mean, I can't imagine these projects are happening without problems. They're
Okay.
busting pipes, they're busting lines, things like this are part of the scope of the work. Am I right or wrong?
I want to talk to her.
Let me clarify that. A lot of errors can happen,
Yes.
but sloppy work, that's terrible.
Yes,
And
but
we are
how
paying
they,
a lot of money
I
to
agree.
have sloppy work done.
I agree, but
Okay.
thankfully
And
there
that's
are
the
unit
errors.
owners, and we're all paying attention.
Right.
Which we should be. They are not perfect, neither are we,
anybody that knows what's going on in phase 4 is me.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
So I make it,
Right.
and this is one of the items I want to discuss, okay? Is and we can, since we're on the subject, let's jump a few points. I put on here, discussion of board member participation and help with individual phase project. Since day one with phase 4, I live in phase 4, so, and I'm a board member. So I took it upon myself to be the liaison for unit owners. I did it with pride and I do it with pleasure. Why? Because I care. Now, when there are issues, like you mentioned, emails are sent and so forth, and I'll do walkthroughs. I expect, because once phase 4 is done, we have 9 members. We have 3 that live in phase 3, 2 that live in phase 2, and 1 that lives in phase 1. What I'm doing for phase 4, I would hope that equally, that everybody owns and be your liaison for your unit, your neighbors in your, I am not going to be as detailed for every phase. You have no idea the amount of time, my personal time on Saturdays, evenings after work, walking, checking them raw, emailing because the project manager's not here every day, making sure it's documented, speaking to unit owners, doing my own punch-through walkthrough, okay? I'm not doing that for the rest of the phases. I expect the board, we have 9 members, that you take ownership of your phase and participate and be that sounding board for the unit owners. Like Marjorie said, construction is not fun. There's problems. It's about troubleshooting, working with the project manager, making them aware what's going on, and getting the engineer involved when we feel some pushback. That all takes time. And I'm not going to do it for the other phases. I want to be clear. Okay. So, all right. So that's the thing there. So.
I have a response to that.
Go ahead.
And then there's Florida law that says all board members are supposed to be handled by the board at the table, not handled independently on the side by anybody else in the community, because we're responsible to the unit owners here. And they're supposed to get a clear, transparent picture of what's going on here.
Correct.
And all these issues, I know this construction's been going on for 3-4 months now, and nobody's brought it to the board about all these issues of Mom's property. I mean, it came up in conversation, but we don't know the exact numbers, what we're dealing with. We have no way to evaluate.
That's why project updates, and that's why they're here.
And that's
why you
what-
can answer. Now, and I also told you, Thursday's a construction meeting, bring it up. Okay, but I'm saying, we're a member of 9, and it feels like we're a member of 1 or 2. And the other thing I want to discuss is the lack of response from this board on urgent matters. I find it highly unacceptable that I send an email and a response I get from, this is about an urgent water intrusion, okay? And the response that a board member gives me, I'm dealing with internal affairs in my attorney, I'll get to it when I can.
And you know
Are you
why?
crazy?
Because you illegally removed me from a meeting.
Are you kidding me?
You have no authority to do that. You have no authority to do that.
Montrose and Betty Siskin appreciate
None.
your lack of sense of
So that's what
urgency
happened to that.
for your own, you,
You cannot
everybody
remove
knows,
any
Sean,
unit owner. We all
everybody
do.
knows.
We can all
Everybody
control
knows,
ourselves.
Sean.
This is an open debate.
The party's over, sir, everybody knows
Yeah,
what's
they do
gonna
now.
happen, because we're gonna continue to have transparency.
Exactly.
And on my next subject of transparency, let me share with you something this board member did, filed a complaint to the DPPR for election issues. I'm going to read you, again, this involves an attorney getting involved and responding to the DPPR. Let me read you
We
the
have
letter.
10 people witness it.
Let me read you the letter, dated 6/3. By the way, you might want to get your address correct, that Pine Island Road is not the new address. It hasn't been for
Well,
a
that's
year.
been filed a long time ago.
Well, they sent
Something
it.
that's-
The board just received something that the
Just
DPPR
like I did
sent
with my records.
6/3. I'm gonna give you your first warning.
See, there you go.
Stop interrupting. Allow me to be transparent to the unit owners.
Do it. I'll be
It
careful.
reads, June 3rd, 2024, via U.S. Mail, Omega Villas Condo Association, Inc. Attention, Patricia Saladez, 9 reference case number 2024-19952, Omega Villas Condominium Association, Inc. Dear Mrs. Sabates, the Division of Florida Condominiums, Timeshares, and Mobile Homes Division is receipt of a complaint filed against, and they have the wrong, they put Southern Grove Condo, but they,
Well, that's there.
okay. It is alleged, here's the first allegation. Association failed to timely provide the second notice of election in violation of Chapter 718-112 2B48 Florida statute. Specifically, the association did not timely notice the second notice of election. Allegation number 2, it's alleged that the association failed to include all timely submitted names of eligible candidates on ballot in violation of Chapter 718. I read this and I want to laugh. 718, 112, 2B3. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait. Florida statutes, specifically association did not allow Nerva Garcia's name to be on the ballot. It is alleged that the association failed to provide space for name, unit number, or signature on outer envelope in violation of section 61B 230021 8 Florida Administrative Code. Specifically, complainant Sean Martin alleges that the association ballots don't reflect which unit owner cast the ballot. Fourth allegation, it's alleged that the association failed to follow nomination procedures in election in violation of section 61B 230021 Florida Administrative Code. Specifically, claimant Sean Martin alleges the association elected Elizabeth Palin, who did not submit her resume as a candidate.
You did?
It's not required.
Multiple people did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the dog and pony show we're dealing with.
Okay.
This 8,000.
First of all, this is a legal matter, and we don't discuss it in open like this.
8,000.
Number one.
This is about full transparency. 8,414
Well, let's have the investigator
legal
first,
fees
and we can
to
have
deal with this nonsense in county. I look so forward
Nerva,
to the
was your
response
name
of
about-
the
it was
DDO.
not-
Let her talk. I look
Why?
forward.
Because she's lying.
I'm giving you your second and final warning.
Whatever.
Second and final
Okay,
warning.
go on, move. Move over there, it's fine.
Don't yell at
Okay,
at all.
that's it. I gave you your second and final warning.
So,
So,
no, don't go anywhere. Continue on. Continue on.
yeah, I will continue on. Thank you, officer. Please reference the case number when responding and provide the following by June 14th. Obviously, an extension was asked because they mailed it to the wrong management office. So, here we go. We engaged the services of our attorney for this. And now we are responding, which the attorney has already drafted and will be responding. And this is one of many things to come our way, and I can't tell you, I can't wait till it's over. And then a letter will be sent to the association on the amount of legal fees that's coming out of our pocket because, Margie, can you share with me what you shared in your email, what you have?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Please.
Yes, Sean has told me several times that he plans these outbursts, he plans strategically to rile the boards up just for what? Strategically. It's in the text message. To get them to what?
What they're supposed to, what's going on? What's the
So
feelings?
basically you are admitting to the fact that you are
Just like
doing
you said,
these
you know.
outbursts
Let's
to
first-
derail what we are doing here.
No.
Yes,
no,
it's
not.
in the text message.
It's
The
the
best thing about it is he puts it in
You're not, that's
writing,
not what's
and like
happening.
he says in his emails to the board.
Well, let's
Yep.
let
Regular,
an attorney,
right.
let's let an attorney deal with this. This is not a
Ladies and
format.
gentlemen, this is where our money is going. That
Yeah.
$8,000.
We also pay for police to be here.
Yes, we do. We have to pay for an off-duty police.
That was your decision, not mine.
No, we have the right to assemble peacefully.
We are.
No,
No, we're not.
We're
No, we're
arguing
not.
because there's corruption and we would I'm a property owner here too, I'm sorry.
We are all property owners.
But you keep on gaining by suing us, and you keep on gaining
You're
by
giving
gaining
us,
by taking back
well,
our project.
Well,
interesting
who's
enough,
saying that my house is
interesting
flooded
enough,
and
it's
not
not,
doing
it's
anything about
not,
it? Her.
this transparency is not over.
It is
Look forward to our claims review, everybody. When we have our claims review, come to the meeting.
Yeah.
In the spirit of transparency, ladies
Do
and
it.
gentlemen, let's do it. I won't mention names, but we are going to the claims review, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the construction,
Yes.
I don't get done working till about 7 Thursday, so I probably won't be able to be here, but Larry came to my house on Tuesday while I was, or Wednesday while I was working, and I told him I can't. So I texted him and emailed him, and I haven't gotten anything back, and that's.
We don't have that, we're back in the items, why would we go on with it?
Yeah, so we just got the progress update that was, I sent it to Eric, he's supposed to upload it. He has there that he's completed the assessment of all the top windows, and that he asked for the unit owner roster to reach out to the unit owners, okay? So, one thing about project management, this is not his only project, unfortunately. So we've had some recent issues of response. I've addressed it with Farouk, and now we're back on track. Farouk is the main engineer. Larry Alcinor works for SD Engineer and was assigned as project manager on this project. Okay? Nobody on this board has the time nor the construction expertise to manage this project. You must have a project manager to look after the interests of the association. Now, I would like to know if you're having not response from the project manager, I would like to know, because I create a list of unit owners' requests as part of my punch list items to get back to the engineer and say, where are we with A, B, and C? That way, when we have our construction meeting on Thursday, I have a document saying, where are we? Where are we? Yes?
No response whatsoever from Larry, that's what I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, the same with
I
us.
don't know.
Email,
So he'll be here on Thursday. I know you said you can't be here, but I'd like to get a list of unit owners that have sent, what is your unit?
1700.
1700 phase one, okay?
1748 phase 1.
1749, phase 2.
Phase two? So we have 1700, 1728 phase one, 1749 phase two. Anybody else reach out?
1748 phase 1. I think you just said 28.
I'm sorry, 1748 phase one. Jen,
1700, phase 3.
you reached out to Larry?
Yes, I called him, he said send an email, he never got back to me.
Okay, excellent. We're gonna address this on Thursday's meeting. We're going to set what we're doing. 1709. And these are all about window questions?
Oh, mine's back the wood trim, it's all splintered in the back of 1700.
So it's a punch list item. We need to make sure it gets on a punch list item.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Mine was with Doran, though, I haven't spoken to Larry, but they came back and they did the reseal on the front fascia there for my, for the roof. I guess they did some stuff on the roof too. But my concern is the drywall inside. So I messaged him today again.
What unit number?
1709. Phase 3.
Phase what?
Phase 3.
Phase three. And it has to do with, I'm sorry.
The drywall damage from the water.
Okay, I'm gonna add this on my list for Thursday. So, it's addressed.
And one last comment before you go on to something else. Larry, where did he come from? Because that wasn't board notes, where did he have it?
Okay, we've been dealing with SD Engineering since 2018. Since 2018, when they were hired to do the assessment for the 40-year certification. When it came time to get near to the project, it was a board discussion, not this board, last year's board, that we need representation to represent in this size project. So Farouk gave us the pricing for his staff member to be our project manager. Larry is an engineer and also a special inspector, so he's qualified, perfect qualifications for a project manager. That's what we need. Unfortunately, how they work as many project managers. They're not only overseeing one project. The engineers have plenty of projects they're
But
overseeing
we the board hire those?
through SD Engineering. We have a
Right.
contract through SD Engineering.
Because I keep seeing expenses, I got one right here on 612 or S&D for 13,400.
Correct. Who do you think is coming and inspecting and heading to the project? That's what a project manager
There's
does.
no project budget, and so these are,
It's part of, well, the loan that was given to us,
4.6 million.
that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the
So this is a $6 or $8 million project. You all understand that, right?
No.
Yes.
Don't put out false information.
There's only 1.2 with.
Carol explained to you, we had collected $600,000.
Yeah, and 285 to the lead on.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Just a quick question,
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
just so I understand, I know we have the contract with Astro, that's the 4.6, but S&D isn't under that umbrella.
No.
That's separate funds.
Engineering, architectural has always been separate. Jay, you want to give, you've been with us for the
And
month.
so our foundation repairs have to be done.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All this extra work is on top of that.
Okay, next agenda item. Okay, so we talked about discussion of board participation in the phase project. We also were given a prospect for a new maintenance person through Sunrise. You all were given the resume. We don't need to do a board meeting to interview this gentleman. If you want to get into one or two on your own spare time during the day, most of you, some of you are here during the day, want to meet them, you can do those interviews. I can't meet with them, I don't know anybody else, mostly meet at night. So I don't think we need a board meeting to interview a prospective new maintenance person. So did everybody get to see this gentleman's resume?
Yes.
Does anybody have any concerns on anything we saw on the resume? You know, that's a good, what time of the day? Remember, if we have a quorum of the board, it has to be a duly called meeting. And I don't think we want to call a board meeting for interviewing this guy. That's why I said, you can do a Zoom, maybe do two at a time.
Patty, could I suggest that we have him come on like the Saturday morning, come and get a chance to meet with you all individually for 5 minutes?
As long as we don't have a quorum.
One at a time.
You can have
Whoever
up to
would like to
4
meet
at a
with
time
them.
without a quorum. I don't want to have to call a board meeting to interview a maintenance guy. Look, we have a meeting now on Thursday, come on. I mean, Marjorie is a flight attendant, she travels. Eric has to leave because he's got work. Everybody's time is different. I think maybe 2 or 3 of us on a Zoom, let's see, set up some time, we can hop on a Zoom and interview him. But to call it duty, it's not worth it. We've got a lot on our plates in this board meetings. Maybe Sean and Mary want to do one night, then Maud and Claire want to do another night. Everybody's schedule is different. But we need to make a decision.
The gentleman has worked under our management company at another association that's larger than Omegaville, is going also through the 40-year certification. He has some very good electrical, plumbing, and maintenance skills, and he worked as a carpenter years ago. So when the board asked to have a new person brought in and to have a resume, he had a resume, he had 15 years of experience in property maintenance, and after a conversation that Mike and I had with the property manager, he met with Ellie, and Ellie said that she was willing to give him the opportunity because it's so much closer to where he lives. We had promised this gentleman that if a good property comes up and he could get an opportunity to not have to commute the distance that he's doing now to Hollywood, it would be better. Because of the fact that we have the same exact street lights and a lot of the similar situations, he also knows how to repair irrigation pipes and various stuff as well. We felt that was something that would be worthwhile.
I liked his skill set. I know you had another gentleman, but he had no English, and I said, it's not gonna work for our committee, I'm sorry. He may be skilled, but he needs to be able to communicate when an owner comes and talks to him, let's say, right? So, someone that doesn't speak, and I'm not saying they have to be perfect. Hey, understand and speak and be able to communicate with their unit owners. So that first gentleman, I'm sorry, but not for this property. The second one, which is the one you're proposing, he speaks English, he homes the language.
English is his first language.
Yeah, so it's perfect. I like his skill set, so it's somebody worth looking into. So let's try to coordinate amongst yourself when you can hop on the Jay, so we can get this new guy. This current guy that was a temp from the other guy, Johnny. When are we getting our golf carts? This guy looks like it's horrible to watch him with a shopping cart.
So the golf carts get sent in because our golf carts are electric and they have 6 batteries. And after a few years, the batteries stop charging. So we had to bring it in to get it tuned up because there were some issues with the fan belts and some of the things that needed to be tightened. So we got a complete tune-up done to the golf cart. We also had all 6 batteries replaced. Those are very expensive batteries. In addition, while it was in there getting repaired, we also went ahead and ordered brand new golf cart tires so that we could we could have new tires put on the golf cart and have backup tires that would be in the maintenance shop because of construction, as you can imagine. The golf cart runs over a lot of nails and various stuff and whatnot. The golf cart is being turned back to us. We did submit the invoice, and my understanding was he was supposed to send it back, but then I guess he told Edwin, I really need to get like half payment before I do that. We submitted in the 2 invoices, and the golf cart will be here. In the meantime, we wanted to make sure we're
Thank
walking
you for the
around.
testimonial on when are we getting a golf cart? That's all I want to know.
I think,
This has been
I think
months.
we should have it next week.
Okay, this has been months.
I think we should have
I've
it.
never seen a golf cart take months to fix. It's
It
frustrating.
was only 1 month.
I haven't seen the golf cart in
No,
over
we-
months
No,
on the road.
because the golf cart was not able to be used because it was in some bad shape, so it wasn't being used.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at you to please arrange, send an email
Mike's-
to the board.
Mike's hand.
Hey, give me a copy, let them know when this gentleman's available, let everybody set up their time if they interested in interviewing this gentleman. As long as we don't have a quorum, we don't have to call a board meeting. I'm not calling a board meeting for an interview, I'm sorry, with a maintenance person. We've never done it in the past, they've always been meet and greet and so forth like that. So my biggest concern is number 1, their skill set, number 2, they're able to communicate with their unit owners. This guy seems to have both, they check both boxes for me. I'd like to meet them. I would like for every board member to state your expectations. The big hot buttons for this community is trash, unkept grounds, making sure that you have, we talked about when we interviewed you, creating a checklist of engineering, a maintenance checklist, what you do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, so we have some structure for these people because they're not supervised for the 8 hours that they're here. I don't want to hear from any unit owner that they saw our maintenance person across the street. I don't want to deal with it. The moment I hear that we can't find our maintenance person, gone. Because we're not paying for a maintenance person to do Houdini acts and leaves the community. I'm sorry. So somebody better watch him. Somebody better expect progress reports on projects that they're doing. Because I'm not dealing with this again. We had the issue with Johnny. I don't know this gentleman here, very nice gentleman that's here now, but I don't even know his skill set. We need to move forward and get somebody in here. Listen, despite the construction that's going on, this association continues. We have to have multitasking. Just because the construction is going on, we're not going to stop doing other projects.
Right, and 1 person can't do everything.
One person what?
Can't run everything behind the scenes and make all the calls and all this. The board has to do it collectively.
What are we discussing here? Stop being difficult. God. All right, so understood, you're gonna do that, and then the board, when you interview this gentleman, make sure you're clear on your expectations. You know the hot buttons in this community. People that are putting out trash, bulk trash when they shouldn't, putting out the wrong bags, and the bags being left there for days, and the maintenance person not picking them up. Making sure just make sure, please, because I'm frustrated.
Okay, can we continue on?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Where's my agenda? Okay, so there wasn't any, agreement amongst the majority of the board on the people that we interviewed, so the round 2 has to happen. I expressed it in the last meeting, I did round 1, I'm not doing round 2. So who would the board like to appoint to search and vet new management companies for interviews?
We can come back to that.
Come back to this one.
I don't mind doing it.
Sorry?
I don't mind doing it, I just need to know how to do it.
Okay. So we want to table it for next?
I have no objection to tabling it, I'm not gonna volunteer for it.
It's very time consuming.
Yes.
Very time consuming. All right, so if we can't, does anybody else on the board want to do it?
I mean, I'll bring I can find, go on Google and find candidates and that, it's not that difficult,
One of the recommendations I suggest you do is to have.
Marissa and Miriam and I will work that day.
You want to collectively search for management companies? Okay, what I'll do is I'll give you typical questions they ask they screen on the phone. They ask certain things about the association, about how we're structured and so forth like that. So I can email you what the list I use. And then I can type up a list of questions, in the interview questions, because that's one thing you wanted to know, is get a better idea of interview questions I'll share that. But there is one gentleman that finally reached out to me. He was from Grant Properties in Boca. I don't even know why I reached out to him, but now I know why. Because when I Googled plantation or vicinity, Grant Properties came up, and in my discussion with him, he said he has 1 or 2. But then my conversation with him, I didn't like. He wanted me to share what the current Jay's, I told him it's very unethical. I'm not going to share with you any management company proposal. Oh, but I'll match it. I just didn't like the way this guy was really feeling and request. I didn't, asking me, send me it and then I'll write you a proposal. I said, it's so unethical. Yeah, so if we get a call back, he's one of the owners of Grant Properties. I'm just going to and I don't think he liked my response because he hasn't sent me the proposal, so I don't care. So we'll continue on that. So making a note, Miriam and Sean will be vetting, making cold calls and looking.
So once we have at least 3 or 4, and then we set up board meeting.
I would recommend, because of the time frame, that once you have one, you share who you're vetting with, and then say, hey, I want to set up a board meeting. Let's not wait. Let's do it like I did. Once you have somebody agrees and you think it might be a fit, invite them in and send a request to the board for it. That way the process just continues. And then we'll just deal with it when the time comes and
And try to limit to an hour at a time.
please, someone's interviews. Well, unit owners were there, they had questions, so that kind of, so if we have it structured and we already have the questions more or less, just bum, 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 bum. And when we see them elaborate too much, kind of bring them back. This is with any interview, they're trying to impress and so forth like that. But one night was too long. All right, so we talked about the search for the new management, then reviewed the idea for the board to reach out to this team to get the maintenance person. We talked about participation in helping individual phase projects. Discussion of, here's a new twist and turn. There are some unit owners, and it's funny because as the project progresses, you get all these frequently asked questions lists, right? So this is good for the other phases that are coming down the road. We have 3 unit owners, now 2, is one agreed to remove the hedges, but there are 2 unit owners that do not want their front fences.
And everybody screamed for years they wanted
Right,
it.
so I said, okay, well, all right. I said, well, the front fences are on common areas, which is association property. And we're obligated to put baffles there, right? And then, but I did all this stuff, and I said, I understand you put nice pavers, but you put pavers on association common areas. So, there were some areas, like unit, we were able to, with the fence, the engineer said, can you just come out a little bit and then do the L shape? We're like, oh yeah, that's a nice compromise, okay, we'll do it. So I posed this to legal, because it's a legal issue. And she made it clear, she said it's association property, that's one of the things in the rules and regulations, people that are planting things in common area, now it comes time, we finally have the money to put the fences. And people have done some beautiful, nice landscaping, but someone has to come out to make way for the fence, so I'm like, what do we do? So Rhonda, the other issue we're having is the original layout of front fences. Did you ever go to the city?
Yeah.
Do they have anything?
Yeah, I was there actually when they were doing the microfiche, and everything was an aerial view. So we didn't end up retrieving any information out of there that was a kind of front facing. So it was very difficult to see the actual height lines. We could only get aerial sight lines. Those are all the plans that were captured and Doran took with him.
Okay, great.
And he has them. And it definitely has the fence lines that can clearly be seen.
Perfect, that's what was needed, because throughout the years, for those of you who are fairly new to the association, as some of these fences lost its integrity, they were removed for safety reasons, right? So the association didn't have the funding to put up all these front fences, right? So, okay, so over the years, the association has, you know, people generally, they want to spruce up their front and so forth. It's great. Then we always knew at some point or another, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to have to address people that have extended their front with pavers. I mean, it looks nice, but it's like, you gotta put back the fence, you know, and then some, I don't want the fence. So I said, okay, time out. Let me get legal advice. And then I was told, yes, you have to put back what was there unless it's a material alteration vote, kind of like what we did with the wood banding. And we voted we didn't want wood banding. In order for us not to put back the fence, we would need a material alteration vote for the entire phase. And I said, I'm pretty sure you're probably the only three that don't want your front fencing. Everybody wants their privacy fence. So I don't think we're going to invest in that. I can, you know, simply go around, you want your fence, you want your fence, just to get an idea if really a vote is warranted. Like, do we even want to go there? I can tell you with the complaints about my front fencing, it's not going to pass. People want their front fence. They want their privacy. So, one unit owner, you know, it's about a compromise. It's about bringing the fence a little bit out to not disrupt the pavers. So that's kind of what happens in this phase project. You kind of be a liaison, be the go person, like, and let them be you're the sounding board to unit owners. That's what's been transpiring. So it's a little overwhelming, but it's got to get done.
Okay, speaking in phase 4, the fence posts are going up in houses except that one.
Oh, the hedges?
Yeah.
That's already been resolved. She wants the hedges removed.
Right.
I don't want to leave her without any privacy until Flacco, which is the nickname of the supervisor of the fencing, knows where you can talk to Proscapes to get us a proposal.
Thursday,
Those hedges have to be removed, you
Correct.
when they're
Yeah, Thursday, Jerry's coming at 8:30, Thursday.
yeah, so rather than, when they're ready, and I spoke to Jerry, I said, Jerry, they're gonna reach out to you for a proposal, but I wanna make sure we're not leaving anybody that has some type of hedge, that seems to be out in the open for weeks. We need to coordinate the fencing crew that's coming to the front. They're finishing the back, and they're gonna come finish the front.
But pulling that hedge out is not our responsibility.
It's association hedge, we planted it. She just let it grow high. It's the cherry hedges that you see everywhere.
Oh, it's a cherry hedge?
Yeah, those are
I
cherry
wasn't aware it
hedges.
was a cherry hedge.
Yeah. Yes.
For the hedges, for the Thursday meeting, that's not when they're gonna actually pull up, there's a meeting to.
No, that's something totally separate. I'm talking about a request for proposal from, because the other issue that we found during phase 4 is, you know, this end units? The end units, if you look at the end units, then the grass sloped down to allow for water to.
Yours
What's
needs to
happened
be
throughout the years is the dirt settles over time, and now there's, the part that's on the street is higher than the part by the building. So the engineer says you need to rebuild up that with dirt, and then put sod so that it acts as, helps the water run away from the building. So that's what we're
That's
discussing.
a part of the meeting though that you guys are gonna have with Proscapes?
That's part of the request for proposal to bring to the board. This will have to be done to prevent foundation issues.
Okay, I saw the new fence people, and he asked me, where do you want your fence? Because I've got a large new air conditioner, so I had to tell him, you gotta.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we're facing, just so you know, in the fences in the original locations of AC. Over the years, when the developer did this community, the condenser units were very small, right? They were usually located next to your door on an L shape, right? Beautiful. Technology evolves, these condensers are much bigger, so anybody that eventually changes out their condenser unit has to go to a larger, even the smallest one out there is large. So what has happened is unit owners have had to have an electrician pull their AC line and go on the opposite side to allow it to fit the compressor, right? So the fence people are like, where am I putting it? And when I walked over there, I said, remember the L. It's all about the L shape. All these units in phase 4 had an L shape. By one window to a certain amount, and I said you can also see where the posts were. You can visibly see where the posts were. So we got a little bit pushback from Austro saying, well, the fence, I said, what do? You put up half a wall? You only see half a wall? Is that what you do in construction? There were fences there. And the contract clearly says replacement of existing fences. That doesn't mean an existing, it means existed, but over time, and you visibly can see. You can see where the posts are, so there's no argument there, but of course, contractors will be contractors.
Well, no, agree. I have a good contractors, I hire my own contractors. And there's good ones and there's bad ones. And bad ones will cut corners and do shitty work, and you have to come off, you nip them in the bud. You don't let them continue to get money, and
No.
yes, you do.
Especially guys who do roof repairs.
Huh?
Yes.
The what?
They do.
Yeah, those guys get up there and they sometimes put the stuff down that doesn't belong in those.
Well, when they remove the stuff under, then that's fine.
Are we talking about the roof repairs that he did?
Yes, I have your own contractors come out.
All right, can we keep
All right, let's keep going.
So you can argue about everything on the side, and then when I come to my time, then you want to
No,
shush me
because
up.
you
No, I know how you are, Pat. I've
requested,
been with you for years. I know how you are.
were requested, you brought an unknown
Yeah, because you didn't fix
contractor.
mine after 3
You
years
didn't
of a
know-
lawsuit.
We have a meeting
You
to
didn't
run,
have
let's
a
finish
permit.
this.
You don't have a permit on
I don't
file.
have to for emergency repairs.
Oh.
And you know what? And I sent it to, guess what? I sent it to the building inspector. I sent a copy to Esther.
Okay.
So that's up on that one.
Good, good. All right, so continue.
And I have the email still too.
Okay, let's move. All right, everybody.
All right, now, the next item, well, that's the issue with the
And that's
original.
where I got lost.
That's the only thing you understand. The other, it goes both ways, I understand.
Yeah.
Discussion of rules and regulations, so Blair, again, this is a topic,
I'm not going, I'm listening to this. You guys can decide.
this is a topic that, was started last year, right? We were 3 board members and we revised, this is the actual revision of previous year's draft. It was time to revise it as a board